award goes to Lil Nas X.
What? Thank you to everybody. Thank you to Billy Cyrus. I love you. Believing that I could come out of the closet in the height of my career, to think that I can make a song about a man lusting after another man in a world where it's still legal in many places to be prosecuted for being who you are, being gay. It's delusional to think that that song could be the #1 song in the world. Thank you to my fans. I love you guys.
The signs of Montero Hills, better known as Lil Nas X, descent into mental insanity first started showing about a year and a half ago when he got catastrophic levels of backlash for his J. Christ video.
And I can act unbothered all I want, but it's definitely like taking a mental toll on me.
The backlash never went away, and instead, it destroyed the career of an artist who was once a Billboard chart darling. And since then, fans have questioned if he's been abusing substances due to concerning social media ramblings and his dilapidated living arrangements.
These last few years were pretty difficult for me. They have been pretty difficult for me, and I'm just now like arriving to this place of feeling confidence. I want to live. I want to fly.
It seems that fan speculation was correct. TMZ recently broke the news that Lil Nas X was hospitalized following a drug overdose. TMZ posted footage of him roaming the streets of West Hollywood in white panties with matching cowboy boots.
Hey,
What
don't
up?
be late to the party tonight.
Where at?
You know where it's at. Go ahead, babe. No. Go ahead, babe. No. Didn't I tell you to put the phone down? Hey, for everybody coming to the party.
It was then reported that he stripped down naked and charged at a police officer, which led to him being arrested for battery. There was no mention of him carrying a weapon, but knowing his height of 6'1", there's a good chance the weapon he was packing was hidden in those tighty whities. I recorded this video before the news came out Monday afternoon that Lil Nas X has been hit with 4 felonies for attacking and injuring cops. So the article from TMZ says, Lil Nas X is now facing years in prison because the LA County District has charged him with 4 felonies, including battery with injury on a police officer. TMZ broke the story. The Old Town Road rapper was naked on Ventura Boulevard in the San Fernando Valley when cops were called. They say when they confronted him, he charged the officers and presumably injured at least 3 of them, hence the 3 felony charges. Nas was also hit with a felony charge of resisting an executive officer, a cop. The rapper was held without bail over the weekend until he could appear before a judge, which happened Monday morning. He's set to be arraigned later today. So far, bail has not been set, but that should happen when he's arraigned. When cops arrested Nas, they thought he was high on drugs, so they took him to a hospital and later transferred him to jail. Today, I would like to have a very honest conversation about Lil Nas X. First things first, I would like to give Lil Nas X his flowers because there currently are a lot of people on social media dunking on Lil Nas X. In a lot of people's eyes, he was mocking religion, so they have no sympathy. Some of the things people wrote include, loser, that's what he gets for being a Satan-worshipping sexual deviant. LOL at him. And then someone responded, I don't think he's on drugs. This seems to be either a humiliation ritual or he's just trolling to get attention and about to release a new project. Something about the situation seems very staged. Even the camera views are too perfect and intentional. Another person said, he fails to understand that when he showed his face and went full-blown Satan, it was a wrap for him and nothing is going to change that. You don't mock Yah. He showed his allegiance and it's the losing side. Another person wrote, this happens when you mock God. I love God's wrath. Don't mock Yeshua, my King and Savior. He is coming soon. He forgives you and he loves you. And on Twitter, a person tweeted, Lil Nas X is an example of why you should never play with God or mock him. They think you play with my Jesus. I ain't got nothing for you, broski. So with that being said, I hope Lil Nas X makes a full recovery. I hope he gets the help that he needs. I mean, this is somebody that has the longest running #1 of all time on the Billboard Hot 100. This is somebody that went against probably people that advised him not to come out. But he said, you know what? Nah, I'm gonna be real about who I am and stand in my truth. And he came out at the height of his career. That's not an easy thing to do. He could have easily stayed in the closet and he probably would have been more successful. He probably would have been more accepted and celebrated by people. And you know how many closeted people there are in the industry? You know how many closeted black men there are in the music industry? I mean, society in general is very homophobic and unaccepting of openly queer men. But that is doubly true for black men in the music industry.
Everybody in hip hop discriminates against gay people. To me, like, that's one of the standards of hip hop, is to be like, yo, you gay. Matter of fact, the exact opposite word of hip hop, I think, is gay. Like, yo, you play a record and it's like whack, that's gay, dog. You know, if it's good, that's the hip hop right there. You see what I'm saying? It's like the exact opposite. So it's like me speaking for my entire culture, or me looking at my rappers out there, hip-hoppers discriminate against gay people.
For those of you who don't know who Terrence Dean is, Terrence Dean was an author, academic, and former MTV exec. He worked at MTV Networks for several years, assisting in the production of live award shows and events. He is best known for his 2008 memoir, Hiding in Hip Hop, on the down low in the entertainment industry, from music to Hollywood. Hiding in Hip Hop does not name any celebrities directly.
My name is Terrence Dean. I am the author of the book Hiding in Hip Hop, on the down low in the entertainment industry, from music to Hollywood. What I think you, the reader, would take out of the book, and what you'll get out of the book, is a story of a down low man, a former down low man, who struggles throughout his career within the entertainment industry, trying to find his voice and a place, not only in Black America, but in America, period. I find that hip-hop tends to be the most homoerotic of cultures. You know, men with their shirts off, boasting of their bravados, you know, with the gold chains and platinum chains and the breed of cars and women. So it tends to, like, you know, breed into that lifestyle, and a lot of men tend to be of a down low persuasion. I think, you know, a lot of people would be surprised and shocked to find that a lot of their favorite actors, celebrities, rappers.
Instead, it uses blind items and pseudonyms to describe gay and down low men within the music and entertainment industries. The book's descriptions led to widespread speculation among the public and in online forums about the identities of the men discussed. Some of the names rumored or speculated to be referenced in the book include LL Cool J, Jadakiss, R. Kelly, Monifa, Queen Latifah, Johnny Gill, Method Man, Sean or Marlon Wayans, Omar Epps, Tyson Beckford, and Usher, Jamie Foxx, Big Tigger, and Shamar Moore. But Lil Nas X, he went against all odds and he took a chance and he came out. And I'm sure that he's inspired countless people that want to come out, want to be who they are, but are afraid to. But seeing him do it probably gave them a little bit more confidence and strength to do it.
To see someone as young as Lil Nas X really dealing with faith, dealing with his own identity, it was really powerful. You know, I think what took me is a tweet that he put out there saying all these years he's been taught to hate himself. And so this music video to me was him reacting to what I call spiritual and theological violence, and how that really harms LGBT folks, especially Black LGBT folks in the church. You know, when I was younger, if I would have saw an image like this, in many ways it would have freed me from the hate that I was taught to believe. So it was very powerful. And I think for a lot of Black LGBT folks, you know, I'm not saying Lil Nas X is Audre Lorde or James Baldwin, but young people are listening to him. And that power of him really dismantling a cycle of shame, I think it really resonates. And for folks who listen to him, it certainly has an impact.
The next thing I want to talk about is what I call gay anger. And you might be like, bro, what the hell is gay anger? A lot of gay people are told that because you are attracted to the same gender, you are going to burn for all eternity in the afterlife. Now imagine being a kid, imagine being a teenager and being told that and hearing that over and over again. That is extremely traumatic. And I think that Lil Nas X exhibits gay anger, which is basically feeling the need to quote unquote mock or make fun of religion or religious imagery or religious folks and their beliefs, because in a lot of queer and gay people's minds, it's like, well, you said that I'm unacceptable, that God hates me, so it's kind of like F your religion, F how you think about me, and F these things that you hold on such a high pedestal.
Can you talk a little bit about how Lil Nas X's art and his success rather, how they connect to people who may have felt that cycle of shame?
You know, in many churches, you are taught that who you are naturally, it's an abomination. Then you have this rhetoric, well, hate the sin, but love the sinner. You're an abomination, but you're still going to hell. Who you are is wrong, but I still love you. And the truth is, you don't love me. The truth is, rhetoric like that, dogma like that, is not affirming. And it really damages people for life. I have friends who've committed suicide. I have friends to this day, they are living their life, but they still have this gnawing sense in the back of their mind that who they are is inherently wrong. So Lil Nas X doing that, I think that it helps to say, hey, you're saying I'm going to burn in hell, and now metaphorically, here I am going to hell. And people still have an issue with it. People are still challenged by it. So he's doing what any artist does, where you put your work and your pain and your sorrow in your art. But I think for some people, it's a little heavier that a Black gay artist is doing it. You know, when Madonna did it many years ago, it was controversial, but it certainly isn't the kind of backlash you see now with a Black gay artist doing it, who is proud, who is remaining unapologetic, and who is not guilted in to these constructs of religion that it really hurts people's souls and it prevents them from loving.
So I think that's why Lil Nas X comes across as mocking religion, because in a lot of ways he might be trying to get back at all the religious people that made him feel terrible growing up. From what I found, Lil Nas X grew up with a significant connection to the church. His father is a gospel singer, and as a child, Lil Nas X regularly attended church. And apparently his dad didn't accept him for years until very recently in his life. You know, once he saw his son was a millionaire and had the longest running Hot 100 song of all time, he's probably like, oh, well, I guess I can overlook this. And, what's up, son? How you doing? How you been? And he probably accepts him now because he actually can benefit. Reportedly, his religious upbringing heavily influenced his perspective on his sexuality, as he initially struggled with his identity, believing his feelings of being gay were a quote unquote test from God.
So I would just pray and pray and pray, and
what were you praying for?
that it was like a phase.
That it would go away.
Yeah.
This complex relationship with the church is a recurring theme in his art and public persona. Personally, I think that's where a lot of his gay anger and drive to incorporate religious themes in his music come from. Partly. Part of me also believes that Lil Nas X has very bad people in his ear and is used to push agendas. But we're gonna get to that in a second. So, the tipping point. I think that with Lil Nas X, the J. Christ video was a huge tipping point for a lot of people, where they were like, nah, bro, you went too far. I already didn't like you because you're openly gay. I didn't like you because you gave the devil a lap dance and twerked on him. But you playing with my Jesus, that's too much, bro. I'm not a Christian. I'm not religious. But the thing is, there are billions of Christians on this planet. There are billions of people that believe that Jesus Christ is their Lord and Savior. And even if you think Christianity is a sham or is just a made-up religion, the truth is there are billions of people that feel very differently from you, and you gotta at least come across as like you're respecting them. Behind closed doors, you can feel however you want to feel, but publicly you have to come across at least neutral. So in a lot of people's minds, Lil Nas X being an openly gay man, him twerking on the devil, him dressing up as Jesus Christ, that's too much. And in a lot of people's eyes, they view homosexuality as being in direct opposition of Christianity. And a lot of people's minds, there's no such thing as a gay Christian because being gay is the biggest sin of all time in their eyes. So there's no way that you could call yourself a Christian and be attracted to the same gender. What I found very interesting is that there was a music video where P. Diddy was depicted on a cross in Nas's song Hate Me Now from 1999. The original cut of the video, directed by Hype Williams, was extremely controversial because it showed both Nas and P. Diddy being crucified. Diddy, who was Catholic, reportedly demanded that this scene be removed. Unfortunately, the unedited version of the video was accidentally sent to and aired by MTV. This incident led to a physical altercation between Diddy and Nas's manager, Steve Stout. So you have somebody like Diddy, who is probably a great example of somebody without any morals, somebody that has no empathy and believes that people are just objects to be used for whatever goal that you're trying to accomplish. Somebody that is very antisocial, but even he knows that you don't play with religion because that is a career killer. If Diddy knew that, somebody with no morals, it's crazy to me how nobody on Lil Nas X's team or nobody was in his ear saying, hey bro, this is not a good look, like maybe you should reevaluate, maybe you should try and water this down a little bit. Nobody told him, since you're an openly gay man, there are certain things you can't get away with. Because there have been other artists that have incorporated religious imagery in their music. There have been artists that have been photographed with having a crown of thorns and evoking Jesus Christ-like imagery. And while they get a little backlash, ultimately it fades. But Lil Nas X is not given that same amount of leeway. And it's because, honestly, he's an openly gay man that is seen as a troll. So he's not going to get that same level of grace. And Lil Nas X was so out of touch that when he started getting a lot of backlash for the J. Christ video, he ended up posting a video of him eating a bunch of communion crackers and drinking the communion grape juice. And he thought that that would be him bringing the situation down a notch and taking some of the heat off, because he's thinking, oh, you know, as kids, we all wanted to eat the communion crackers and drink the juice, but we weren't able to. And I thought that that would be a way to de-escalate the situation. That's how out of touch he was. Which leads me to my next belief, that ultimately Lil Nas X just had bad people around him and terrible people in his ear. Personally, I do think that Lil Nas X did want to incorporate religious imagery and other Christian themes in his music as a way of maybe a form of get back a little bit. But I do think that he had people that were egging him on and using him to push agendas, and people that took advantage of his traumas of growing up in the church, right? And feeling unaccepted and unloved by his family and the Black community and just people in society in general, right? They said, oh, we have a chance here to do things with his music and his image and his visuals that we may not have with other artists. So let's take advantage of that. Let's exploit his anger towards being unaccepted by Christianity and Christians and people that he grew up around. And the thing about Hollywood is, once they can't use you anymore, once there's no money left in you, once your popularity has died down, they say, hey bro, we're good on you. And they kick you to the curb, discard you, and ghost you. If you look at Lil Nas X's, the budget put into his music now versus the budget that used to be put in his music, it's a night and day difference. People have speculated that Lil Nas X has been shelved by his label, and it seems like he was kind of shelved, but kind of not, because he was able to drop an EP this year, but there was no publicity for it. There was one music video. There was almost no promotion at all by his label. And it seems like they're done with him. They said, hey bro, people not rocking with you, people don't like you, so we're gonna have to let you go and let you fend for yourself. He basically became a flop artist overnight. He has not had a single song chart since J. Christ, which came out in February of 2024. And do you know how traumatic that must be? Where at one point people rolled out the red carpet for you. You had the whole industry at your beck and call, at your fingertips, willing to do whatever for you, whatever grand idea, no matter how many millions it cost. They said, hey, we can make it work. You deserve it. You are a great return on investment. But now nobody's getting back to him. Nobody cares about him. People that once would collaborate with him on songs are nowhere to be found. Do you know how traumatic that would be? That would lead to me crashing out, right? And that has led to what people before recently, people were speculating about him being on substances, and now we know for sure. And that happens a lot of times in Hollywood, where once the money train has dried up or ran out and people aren't able to take advantage of you, they kick you to the curb, and you end up turning to substances and other reckless activities to numb the pain and fill the void of once being accepted by your industry. It's extremely traumatic. So I guess I want to end this video with the final question of, can Lil Nas X come back? Honestly, truly, I think that a comeback could happen, but during this current presidential administration, his current standing in the industry, I don't think Lil Nas X will have a comeback for at least 3, 4, 5 years. As of right now, he's 26 years old, still very young. A comeback could be possible. He's still young enough, but I don't see it happening until maybe he's 30 or sometime later in his 30s. People are still very upset with him, and I mean, it's to the point where people don't even have empathy for what he's going through right now. There are people that think he's just on one of his troll rants, troll activities like usual. He's literally in the street butt naked, charging at officers, you know, rapping Nicki Minaj lyrics in the street while people record, and people are like, oh, he's trolling for a song or for a single. He's trying to gain some sympathy and publicity. And it's like, dang, he's literally at the bottom and nobody cares. That's how little grace and that's how poor his social standing is with the general community. Honestly, I think that Lil Nas X should just focus on making good music, catering to his core remaining fans, and stop trying to chase mainstream approval. I think he should leave the antics alone, adopt a chiller, more laid-back image and aesthetic, apologize. He definitely should issue a real apology to people. Even if he doesn't believe he's wrong, for the sake of his social image and how people perceive him, he should just say, I'm very sorry to those I've offended, and slowly get back in people's good graces. And maybe when he's 30, maybe when we have if we have a different president in 3, 4 years, attempt a real comeback. But as of now, it's curtains for him. In the words of Bella Hadid, it's quiet.